Okay, all right, all right. You guys are in for a treat. We have today Jennifer Hernandez, mortgage broker extraordinaire. She has been a mortgage loan officer for over 30 years, and her successful career is really built entirely on referrals, leading to over 20,000 recommendations, referrals that led to business for her. She is deeply passionate about paying it forward by teaching business partners how to build a business that loves them back. And that's what she's talking about today. This passion actually inspired her to write her first book in 2023. It's titled Big Hug, Big Kiss. And she's working on her next book, I think. I think she'll share some information on that. But from 2012 to 2022, she actually served as a mentor and coach for over 230 top loan officers, I think across the country, right,
Yeah.
Jen?
Nationwide,
That's
yeah.
just amazing that you did that and for so long, for sure.
Well, they
And she's
paid me a
also,
lot of money. That's why I did.
I'm sure, yeah. Well, she has been an active member in our group for 7 years. She was actually in two of our groups, and she's now in another NIA group too. So she's a big NIA fan. So take it away, Jen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I am going to share a screen. So I've got a presentation to just keep us on track. But Helen, thank you so much. And I'm just super honored to be talking to the NIA community today. So let me just clinker and present here super quick.
I'm honored to be able to share you with everybody.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, building a business that loves you back. So first, I would love to see in the chat where everybody is from. I mean, I'm in Houston. I know there's people from all over. I just would kind of love to know my audience. So I would love to, if you could just put in the chat where you're from. Virginia, Maryland. Oh, New Jersey, my parents. Oh, hey, Kassoon. Washington, Boulder, Houston. Nice. Fort Lauderdale. Cool. I was just in Florida. Oklahoma City. Yay. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Awesome. Awesome. Humble. Hey, Crystal. Nice. Okay. So I'm in Houston. I think as Helen mentioned, I'm in her Katie group. I was a founding participant in that one. Really have enjoyed being in NIA, and now I'm also in Tony Harris Taylor's group additionally, which is a virtual group that's more nationwide. So that's super fun. So I didn't start out in the mortgage business. I graduated Texas A&M in 1995. Whoop, me and Timothy, class of 88, are whooping here right now. And I was a waitress after college. I had this economics degree. That's not me per se, but kind of me. When I was 23 years old, graduated college, and I was waiting tables at the Mexican restaurant. Those of you that live in Houston know Papacitos, which is like the best Mexican food ever, best Tex-Mex. And I made gangster tips. Okay. I made a lot of money, was paying the bills. I was the upsell brochette, rib, whatever queen, and upsell your margarita. Like I had it all going on. And about 9 months after graduation, it was September 1995. I had a complete meltdown. I was like, I cannot wait tables the rest of my life. I'm bilingual in English and Spanish. I'm economics. I have not started interviewing. Like, life has got to be better than this. I cannot work double shifts the rest of my life. Like, I cannot do it. And I was just crashing. And I called the only person who was paying attention to me at the time, which was a former party friend from A&M that had started this mortgage business. So he was like, "You need to be a mortgage loan officer." I'm like, "You're nuts. It's 100% commission. We're not partying and drinking. Have you been drinking? Like, I cannot do this." But I called him because I had no better offers at the time when I was having this meltdown. I was like, "I've got to do something." I said, "Is the offer still open?" He said, "Yes." I said, "I'll show up tomorrow. And that was September 11th of 1995 was my first day as a mortgage loan officer. And I've never looked back. And actually, we're going to talk about networking because that's kind of one of the concepts I'm going to talk about. You all know networking because obviously you're here with NIA, but the Aggie alumni group, which if you came on early, I was going back and forth with Timothy Tate, class of 88. And I remember this, you are seared. And when I saw his name, I thought, oh my gosh, that's always how he would introduce himself. And I used to show up at the Aggie alumni group every week, 6:30 a.m. at the City Club. And that's where I first met Timothy. So Timothy, I'm glad to be reconnected to you. I'm gonna start going again to the group. But networking works. So we are going to get into that. But that's not new to any of you that are here. But why am I qualified? How did I develop this business? And I have a good news for you. It doesn't take 30 years to develop the business that you love and that loves you back. I've just had an amazing run and still going. I'm not retiring yet, by the way. And I'm just passionate about helping give you the shortcuts that no one gave me when I first started. I don't wish I could turn back the clock because my journey's my journey and I've loved every minute. But I just think, oh my gosh, if I knew then what I know now, like crazy things would have happened. But I'm glad to say that I'm here now to present to you. I'm super honored. I gave my first TEDx talk last year in November. So on doing the right thing. Actually, one of my first, Timothy will know him, but JJ Court, it's a story about my interactions with JJ, who was an Aggie alumni, who was one of my very first clients. So I also authored a book, Big Hug, Big Kiss. I've been a top 10 loan officer in my city for many, many years. I did, as Helen mentioned, coach all those prima donna loan officers many years ago that I had really fun doing that. And I've had a lot of referrals. I've been 100% referral for 30 years. So that's what I want for all of you. Referrals convert at a much higher level. So I'm going to give y'all I've got 3 concepts that I'm going to talk to you about. And my goal is that you take away some nuggets. I know this is being recorded. We are going to have Q&A, so please just jot down your questions. Just save them for the end. I want to just get through this for those of you that might need to build out early. And super, super excited. So how many of you might feel at one point in time, you're working endless hours, leads aren't converting, you're living deal to deal, burnout is looming? At any given point in time, right? As an entrepreneur, you can even work for a company and be a W-2 employee and feel this way. Yeah, Timothy's, you said you've gone back to 100% commission. It's tough. And when you own your own business and you're responsible for the income that's coming in, these storms can be more frequent in nature. And the good things about storms is that they always have a beginning and they always have an end. My goal for you today is that with a few things that I believe you could really start doing right away, your storms will be shorter in nature and you can get out of them sooner because you have some systems in place. So that's the good news of what's ahead. So you don't have to feel like you're in that quicksand reaching for your lifeline. What's that show? Is that Naked and Afraid where you get like a lifeline or something? I don't know. And I also have a gift for you. At the end, I'm going to give you a workbook that I've designed that has 16 exercises. Don't get overwhelmed. They're easy and fun, and it's really going to help you dig a little deeper, do some thought on building the business that you love. So before we get to that, I actually want to know, well, building a business that you love means different things to different people. For me, when I was 24 years old, the business that I loved was just, I wasn't waiting tables. I wasn't working 20-hour day, not 20 hours, that's exaggerating, maybe 15, double shifts, didn't have a life. I didn't even know what day it was. Like it was just, for me, it was just anything but that. And then it became paying off my student loans. And that, so it's different things to different people. But I'd love to know for you, what, just in a couple of words, maybe put it in the chat, a business that you love, what would that be like for you? Mine is creating a legacy and actually working less. Having a team to support me, and that's actually, I do have that. I still work a lot though, but it's just being able to take time off, being able to travel, being able to support my family, and that it's fun. That's for me right now, that's what that looks like. And my boys are older. And so leaving a legacy for them to know that their mom built something and that she pretty much that she was a badass. That's what I want them to know, that she was a hard worker, that she made things happen, and that she impacted a lot of people. So mine right now is legacy. So I'd love to hear, let's see, we got some in the chat. Let's see. Ooh, having 25 appointments a week. Perfect. Working because I want to, not to pay the bills, owning my time and not someone else's. Amazing. That's great. Thanks everybody for chatting. Well, business that I love is one that supports others to grow their business. Great, Helen. Yeah, you're passionate about that. Awesome. Well, I've got the gift for you in a little bit. So concept number one, I've got 3. So concept number 1 is you have to love yourself first. Now, this is easier said than done because of those storms that we talked about. I think the first thing that we've got to do is really understand what our why is. Now, in the workbook, so the workbook is like this. You can print it out like I did. Oh, what's my camera doing there? Hey, guy. Hey, I'm right here. Oh, that's not good. Sorry, guys. I told y'all before my camera moves and it drives me crazy. Let me fix it. Okay, there I am. Hey. So what's your why? And setting boundaries and mindset. So we are going to go through a couple of exercises for those 3 things. So defining your why, it could be paying the bills right now. It could be surviving. It could be family, legacy, education. Why do you show up every day? Why do you go work the number of hours you do? Why do you put everything on the line? Timothy, for example, to go back 100% commission, like all of us have this why as to why we started our own business or continue to do the business that we're in. So there's some good exercises in the workbook to really dig a little bit deeper. To really, and for some of us, it's just reconnecting with what we love again. When you're in that quicksand, it is so easy to be in the restaurant business. We always used to say to be in the weeds, right? And so I'm in the weeds. And when you're in the weeds, you just can't see anything except the weeds, nothing. So hopefully the questions will help, present a clearing a little bit so that you guys can reconnect with your why. Now, here's a big one. This is actually one of my favorite topics because this is what changed for me the most when I started to really, it took me, I'm a slow learner, okay, for 10 to 12 years. Well, actually, I'm a fast learner, but I'm a slow learner in some things like learning how to put in some systems and having less storms. So I survived for about 10 or 12 years in my mortgage business very successfully. Actually, I was making very good income. I mean, by my 3rd year as a 27-year-old young lady, I was already making 6 figures, which was pretty hard back then. So I was having a lot of success, but I was miserable. I was working all the time. My method was whatever I can get to first. I mean, calendar, I didn't even use a calendar. I just have 1,000 sticky notes and I just cross them off and I have a big highlighter and I just and I got everything done. I always did what I said I was going to do because I was working until like 10:30 at night doing what I said I was going to do. And people appreciated that. So I got more business. Um, but that only gets you so far. And about 12 years into my career, I was super miserable. I'd racked up a bunch of debt that I forgot to tell my husband about. That's a whole other story. And I was miserable. I had a new baby, my first baby, Diego. I was a new mom. I was miserable, working a ton of hours. My income was going backwards. Like I was a mess. And divine intervention put someone in my path that taught me how to time block. No one had ever really taught me that before because I was so in the weeds, I probably wasn't listening, even if they taught me. But I learned how to do a few simple things on a calendar. Imagine that. So, those of you that use a calendar, maybe I'm just going to give a couple of tips today. Maybe I'll say just one thing that might move the needle for you if you're already a time blocker. If you're not a big time blocker, there's never better time to start than right now. So having a calendar and make sure that it becomes your Bible, like that it becomes your go-to. I put drive time in there. It took me years and years to even put drive time in there. Like who else thinks that they can be everywhere in 15 minutes? Okay, my hand is raised. Like I think that 15 minutes is, oh, there goes the camera. There she is. She's doing good. I think I can be everywhere in 15 minutes. And it's just not true. So I started putting appropriate drive time and oh my gosh, my days got better. Like imagine that. So I put everything in there. I put personal in my calendar, everything. I do not put tasks in my calendar because it clutters it up too much. That just I leave it for the calls that I'm supposed to make and all the sales activities. Got to have my paperwork time, etc. Now, a concept that I will give you that has really worked for me is having some blocks of 3 to 4 hours at a time so that you can get into the flow. Like for me, I can't just say, okay, oh, I got 30 minutes. I'm just going to jam out a bunch of prospect calls. Like I just, if you can do that, I applaud you. Like I will go give you a pedicure right now. That I'm so impressed. Like that is admirable, but like a lot of us are squirreling all the time chasing whatever we can chase. And I'm one of those people. So I like to block out 3 hours that I'm going to make calls. I have my lists ready to go. I know that, let's say that Wednesday is my call day, and I'm going to call a few segments of my business. We're going to get a little deeper to that a little bit later on. And you get in the flow and you're going to have an amazing time because people that refer you and know you, they really want to talk to you actually. And when you start talking to them and you're not in a hurry, just fitting the call in, it's like fun. And that's how one of the ways that business is solidified and relationships are maintained is partly you got to have some phone calls. You can't see everybody in person one-to-one. I mean, that's the one-to-ones I know are huge, but then what about the follow-up, right? So the calendaring and setting boundaries and protecting your energy starts with your calendar. So if you're feeling frazzled, it's because your calendar is not working. It's because you aren't putting your personal things in. The personal things need to go first, by the way. Make sure that you have a start time. Make sure you have an end time. When I coached those 230 high producing loan officers, by the way, they were already high producing when I got a hold of them. And the program, it was a 2-year coaching program, and I had a group for 6 months. And then I passed them to the next coach. Within the 2 years, they all doubled their business. Like it was intense. Well, they were paying $3,000 a month to coach. So like they had to get results. Like it was a high pressure group. And they all were horrible at time management because they were chasing this and that. And when we could show them to control their time and set boundaries, the magic started to happen. It's the most amazing thing. So if you're feeling frazzled, your calendar is the first thing that needs attention. Put in the personal things. You've got to have morning time, y'all. Maybe some of you are better to do all that stuff at night. I'm super tired at night, so I have to do the morning. have that time to where you feel good. You know, maybe you journal, maybe you read the Bible, maybe you just meditate, go out and put your feet in the grass. I don't know, like whatever that means to you. That book, Miracle Morning, is amazing. If you haven't read it, or if you have read it, reread it. It's great about that morning routine, and that's going to get your mindset right and help you attack the day. So my day starts at 9. Um, Occasionally I'll take a call at 8:30, but I start my day at 9, and it's with my team meeting every single day. And so I have my rhythm that I've identified that works for me. Maybe you want to work 12 to 8. I don't know. Whatever it means to you. Maybe you want to work only Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Cool. Calendar it in. Like whatever it is, and it's going to be work with your schedule so that you can balance and have that personal time as well. Calendar it in. And you've got to follow the calendar. Just put one foot in front of the other. And like my calendar tells me what okay, I'm going to make a confession. I've grown to love the calendar so much that I even put like Walgreens on the weekend. Like Walgreens, pick up prescription, Walgreens, get, whatever. Like I put it in there because it tells me, even in the weekend, I need a roadmap. Like I need to know. And I put drive time. I put my 15-minute drive time. Like I do those things. I do it. Now I have more white space, of course, on the weekends, but I map it out. I love it. I just love it. And I hope that you do too. Now, one thing before I go on to the next thing, because I could talk about time blocking for like 2 hours. I love it so much. Having the blocks of time, like call time, like maybe once a week, you just do a call bonanza. Every day from 2 to 3 or 2 to 5 is really my high client time. So the other thing that I will tell you changed my life when I had that kind of mid-year crisis where I was really down in the dumps in my business, kind of 12 years in, super big storm, is I learned how to set callback times. I was like, oh my God, it's so genius. Like no one's ever taught me that before, where you're not answering the call on the fly, nonstop barreling down the highway, where you actually, maybe, well, now a lot of us receive texts. We didn't have that in 1995, but however, some of us get leads or calls on email, text, all these different methods, right? So maybe at the top of every hour, you're checking all those things, you're returning calls, and you're programming people to talk. You try to put people in your call block as much as possible. The exception is when you get a super, super smoking hot lead. Of course, you're going to move around whatever you can, right? But probably 1 out of your 10 leads is really urgent. Honestly, that's what I find in mortgage, and it's a high intense industry where timelines can be super rushed. So you just kind of find that out on the text, or hey, is it appropriate if we talk, after 12? I'm in an appointment, or do you need a call before then? It's a simple question. No, my hair's on fire. I need you right now. I'm putting a contract in right now and I'm not approved yet. Okay, you're unprepared, but okay. So you make some exceptions to that, right? But for the most part, I try to squeeze my calls into that 2 to 5 p.m. timeline, because that's when I have my mortgage lender extraordinaire hat on. For the most part, that's how I protect my energy, is that I'm in flow for my mortgage clients during that time. Now, in the morning, it doesn't mean I'm not doing mortgage things. We're looking at paperwork. We're reviewing the things we got in the portal on the night before, getting organized. We're actually texting clients and emailing them to set the appointments for the afternoon. So we have a system. But putting people in that flow time for you as much as possible, 80% of the time, y'all, it will protect your energy like nothing you've ever seen, so that you can have other times to do other things that you definitely need to do in your business. You can't just be like, well, you can be. The way I used to operate was I was squirreling. I'd talk to a new, okay, so like, okay, answer the call, talk to a new client, then I jam out a little bit of paperwork. Then I do this. And then I got to go to go to the restroom real quick. And then on the way, I stop and talk to the person in the next office. And then I come back. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's like 1,000 stickies on my desk. Let's see which one I'm gonna look at right now. Then, oh, phone's ringing. Squirrel. Hey, wait, text. Let me get this text. Oh, cool. New lead. Let me go ahead and call that. Like, y'all, like it could go on all day like that. And you can totally get caught up. So again, proactively pushing people into that space. Now, I know a lot of you are familiar with Calendly. I know in my NIA groups, it's used like wildfire. If you're not using Calendly yet, please talk to your NIA group member and use Calendly because it's the best thing ever. So I don't need to really talk to this group about that because I think you're all using Calendly, probably. But try those few things, setting back call times and offering, oh, hey, can are you best to talk at 1 or at 3:30? Offer a couple of times. And trust me, they will choose one. And then I send them a Calendly, even if it's an hour from now, my assistant will send them a Calendly. And it's a good impression. People are like super impressed, like, wow, she scheduled a 20-minute discovery call with me, like intro call. Like, wow, I get this email and I get this text reminder. Like this chick is like professional. If you're answering the call barreling down the highway just to answer the call, because, oh, I don't want to miss a call. Y'all, they can tell. You're not focused. It's dangerous. You're not really taking notes. I hope not. It's just not good. And so I think that's the biggest thing that changed for me, that really started to change the trajectory of my calendar, which then changed other things. So I'm going to move on to the next topic. And you guys can ask me questions about that a little bit later. So mindset, what goes in really does come out. So in the workbook, I've got a really nice audit about kind of what am I doing that I should keep, start, stop doing. It's just like a little exercise that's super simple. Just check the things that you're watching, podcasts that you're listening to. Like I've been kind of gravitating to some, political podcasts lately. And I was thinking this morning, I was like, okay, I need to stop, I need to stop doing this, or maybe just do it once a day at a certain time, block it in, just have a little 30 minutes and that's it, so just, or what you're reading or what you're watching. I only watch Netflix Friday, Saturday night. Like that's it. I don't watch it during the week. Even if my husband's like, hey, come sit on the couch and watch TV with me. I'm like, no, that's okay. I'm going to go do something else. I don't want to do it because I'll miss my sleep and then I'll miss my window to wake up at 4 to do my 5 o'clock workout, so you've got to really decide what's important and just take a little inventory on what is going into your brain, into your ears, and all that good stuff. Okay. All right. Concept number 2, systems. So this is where the rubber really meets the road, because on charm and good looks and good gab, you can definitely get really far for a certain amount of time. And that's what I did for about 10 to 12 years. Like I mentioned, my system was whatever I get to first. I wasn't using a calendar. I was just like, oh, I'm just writing stuff down, got my highlighter, and I got it all done, but I was crazed and dazed and all those things until I met that person that taught me how to properly time block a couple simple things. And I also learned more about systems. So we're going to talk about tracking every lead, not just the ones that you're talking to. I'm going to tell you what that means in a minute. Talk about your database. And I know these sound like super simple things. None of this is rocket science, y'all, but I'm just saying this is the key to the sauce right here. And then recurring systems, because this is when your business will really start to change, when you really have some recurring systems that when your storms happen, and they will, no matter who you are, they will be shorter in nature. I promise you, because you have proper systems in place. They will. You'll have them, and then you'll be like, blip on a screen, on to the next thing. Done. So what do I mean? This is my a snapshot of my monthly lead tracker. Okay. I don't care where you track your leads, but it needs to be somewhere other than a spiral notebook. And that's okay if that's you. That's why you're here, hopefully to learn something new. I personally have an Excel spreadsheet that I have paid someone to robustly build out for me to track my leads. But there's online stuff. I mean, I just started this like 15 years ago and it works for me. So I don't change it. But I track, so the G at the top is the goal, that bar at the top, and I have these pillars of business. So I put the red arrow. So these acronyms that I have in the middle of the page, the definition of those are where that red arrow is pointing. No matter what your business is, and you can feel free to take a picture and copy this if you want, like literally identify what your pillars of business are, because when you're writing down every lead, and if once a month you can review the cumulative total of your leads, because if you write it down but then you don't do anything with it, it really means nothing, which is what I was kind of doing before I learned how to do it. I was writing them down, but I did nothing with it. I can see where I'm converting. So the goal's on the top. The L stands for leads. So I can see, like in the middle, you can see my realtor in mortgage, my majority of my business comes from realtors. And my goal is 40 leads a month from realtors. Well, I got 65. Wow, like that's awesome. And that's also my highest converting category, because realtors have the quickest link to people buying houses, right? But I can tell many things just by the numbers here on my business, because I track it and I follow it and I see, when you write down every lead that you have a phone number and or an email for, that you have the ability to follow up, it's a lead, whether you talk to them or not. Because if you don't write everything down or track it somewhere, how do you know what your fall through is? How do you know where you're falling short? Like, what I want to know is, okay, I got 65 realtor leads. I'm here in the middle of the page, 31 converted with application. That's what that line means. Well, what happened to the other 34? That's what I want to know. Of course I know, because we go back and we look, but you can see where you're falling short. Why am I not converting? What's the quality of my leads? Let's see if the people that referred me, does Susie refer me people that always fall out? Well, I need to either upgrade Susie and politely not call on her anymore so she doesn't refer me, or I need to teach her how to fish better. I need to teach her how to get good leads so that she can give me better leads, right? So if you know what you're getting and you track all of it, you're going to be able to do so many amazing things with that information. So my first big word of advice is, analyze or really think about how you're tracking your leads now and put it somewhere. And if you don't have that system, try to find out, I know NIA has a lot of resources. Scott Talley or Daniel or whoever your leader is can like try to point you to some systems, but you've got to track your leads somewhere other than that piece of paper, because then you're also able to follow up better, which is another big, we're not going to really touch on follow up today, really. But that is part of a system for sure, but you've got to have the leads to know to be able to do that. Okay. And you can see down here, I even track at the very bottom. I like to see in one place, like month to month, how I've been doing. Like, oh man, December was kind of crappy. I got 51. Like on average, I get like between 90. Well, my goal is 90 and I hit it almost every single month. But the first part of the year, I was not doing good. And then April, 104. And then May, 101. I printed this just the first couple days of June. I think I printed it like the third day of June. I already had 14. So this was snapped a couple weeks ago. So anyway, track those leads, y'all. CRM, customer relationship manager. There's tons of them. I'm sure they're all good if you work them. That's it. Bottom line. So assess what you have access to. It's really good. I know someone on here, Crystal does a tech audit. Actually, she helped me with that not long ago. Crystal has a tech audit, Crystal Gomez, to see like what's overlapping, what do you have, what are you not using. If y'all don't use these programs, y'all, before you start complaining about a program like, okay, Keep or Go High Level's not working. Well, are you working it? Learn how to work it or pay someone to teach you how to work it, because they all work. Otherwise, these people wouldn't be in business, right? But use something. So track the leads, so you can track the referral sources, so you know who's referring you, who your top people are that you need to be in most relationship with. Categorize those people, because if you have just everybody dumped in the database or the CRM, it means nothing, y'all, if you don't categorize them. So in going back to these pillars here, the CCR, current client referral, past clients, those convert the highest, by the way. The past clients, at least in my experience, they convert for me 43% of the time. And my other stuff, my realtor stuff, only converts like 18% of the time. So past clients and their friends are the best kind of referral that you can get. So where do you think we should all be spending our time and money? You guessed it. Past clients, but that's where we spend the least. In my experience with the top loan officers, that's where they spent the least amount of time. Crazy. Well, not when we got done with them. We just taught them a way to do it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, who knew?" But figure out what your business, what your, what you want your acronyms to be. Copy this one. I don't care. I mean, like just think of something, but you probably can think of 6 or 7 pillars of business right off the bat. And then what's coming in if you categorize it, and what to nurture and where to spend the money and what is converting. Okay. So again, then you can put those referral partner people into a CRM so that you can drip on them, which we're gonna talk in the next section. We're gonna talk about that. We're like, what are you talking about, Jennifer? What do you mean drip? What are you talking about? So recurring systems, this is really where the magic started to happen for me. I did start the very first recurring system that I had when I first got in the business. My first true system that I didn't even really know that I had until I knew it was I started, let's see, it was probably, yeah, like maybe 2004 or 5. I started sending, so that's like 20 years ago. I started sending out an email to all the realtors every Friday around 4 p.m. called Interest Rate Update. And I kind of did it blog style, where I would write a little story, like a personal story, and then I would lean it into business, like a learning lesson that I had from the week that's personal, so people could kind of get to know me. And I still do it today, 20 years later, every Friday. I probably miss, out of 52 Fridays, I probably miss like 3, maybe. But I do it every week. Around 4 or 5 o'clock, it's sent out, and it works. I mean, I'll get referrals from people that have been on that list for 2 years, and they'll need me. Like, you never know when people that you're calling on, when they need you. They may not need you right now, but that's okay. I'm okay being on your bench. That's okay. And you're kind of getting to know me on the side. And email is still, in all the different the conferences and different things I've gone to, the digital marketers, even as the most recently as last year, have all said that all this other noise like social media and text and all these things, that email is still one of the number 1 ways to market. People that have jobs have email. And email has a beginning and it has an end. and people can flag it. They can create folders. Like you cannot find a video on Instagram that you saw yesterday that was important. Like if you even tried, like you're not going to find it again. You're just not. And so email really is a great way, and you get deleted a lot of times, but a lot of times I can go to my deleted items and search, ooh, Helen Maldonado, and see all the, it's searchable, right? So, but all of what I have learned, like I've actually done a really good job of keeping up with the times as dinosaur as I am, because like if you looked at my desk right now, I still have some paper on it. Like I just love paper. I love to see things. I'm just that way. Very old school in some ways, but I have done a good job at embracing the technology advancement, like social media, text. I mean, that's just the way our people communicate now. Like I can reach more clients on text, but you have to do all of it because you don't know what system people prefer. You have to snail mail, you have to email, you have to do social media, you have to call for sure, you have to text, and you got to incorporate video. And so in the workbook is kind of some good exercises of seeing, and you got to do some, you definitely have to do in person. But not everybody needs all of those things. But you need to make sure that in your recurring program, like you look at the pillars of business. So of my 6 or 7 pillars that you saw, I don't do all of these things to all of them. You've got to pick out like which pillar do I do maybe 2 of these for, and how frequent. Some people that refer me more, I talk to them weekly. Some people only need quarterly touches. And some people, maybe some events, in-person things, maybe biannual or quarterly or maybe annually. So this, I could go down a whole other rabbit hole of marketing, but I think just auditing what you are sending out, and there's a lot of people in NIA that have amazing automation, amazing. And seeing where you can fit automation in here to where all you got to do is just schedule it, and the CRM takes care of it for you. You just kind of, look at what they're sending out. I'm not a huge fan of canned stuff. I like to make things that are super valuable, that look like I put some time into it and I'm not just copying and pasting. That's just me. But just hire someone to help you and get your foot off the ground and get you a blueprint or something. And NIA has so many amazing resources. I know I'm not using all the resources in an NIA, and I should. And Helen and all the other leaders are doing great ideas of leading us to this amazing, whether it's automation or marketing ideas or getting in the video library, etc. We need to be taking advantage of that, y'all. So look at what you have access to before you go paying for something, and see what you can have access to. But choosing the frequency of these recurring systems, and if you just add one thing for each pillar of business, it's going to move your business to the next needle. And then you add another thing. Maybe next year, then you'll do another audit and add more things, right? So that is that. So I'll look forward to some questions on that here in a little bit. Okay, concept number 3. How the business keeps loving you back. So we started with loving yourself. You got to get your house in order. And I didn't mention this, but like it goes all with that morning routine, and morning routine can encompass, it might be working out for you, jamming down a ton of water, having your coffee, putting your feet in the grass, like whatever that means to you. Okay. But loving yourself, protecting your time, setting those boundaries, having a calendar and sticking to it. And then we went because that'll get you so far. But then you got to have those systems too, those recurring systems that are going to keep your business going, and having that CRM and being organized on your referral partners so you can show gratitude. That's what we're going to talk about now. You can network and know who you're networking. And we're going to talk about investing in yourself. And that is how the business will keep loving you back. So it's all kind of coming together. in this nice little circle that just keeps rinsing and repeating and rinsing and repeating. So networking, of course, you all know what that is. NIA is amazing. But we need to do other types of networking, and networking doesn't have to be an event that's always focused around, oh, too much food and I'm not drinking right now. I don't want to go drink. Well, number one, you don't have to drink. But number two, networking is a book club, a Bible study. I'm in a book club every Friday morning at 7:15 for the last 7 years. That's networking, y'all. Now, we're not actively trading referrals, but we are developing relationships. We're talking about something that interests us. So I think being a part of, I look at it as, let's redefine networking as being part of a group, something that's like more than 3 people, or I would say more than 5, probably. That's recurring, and you're building relationships. The Reveille Club, that A&M alumni club early on that I would go to, like, that started to pay off for me immediately. And you know why? Because I showed up. I went to the meetings. I was there every week. I participated, and that's how you start to earn trust. I mean, I'm preaching the choir because you guys all know that, but I really make sure that we're doing the one-to-ones, because that is really okay. So you do the one-to-one, but then after that, the one-to-one, here's a system. The one-to-one, the person that you're on the one-to-one with needs to be put in your database, your CRM, whatever, and added to one of your drip campaigns. They need to be in one of your categories. For me, that category of my favorite business people is called Top VIP. That's what I call it. You could call it biz. I don't care what you call it, okay? But I put all those people in that. And when I'm sending out those recurring emails, it's automatically triggered to grab the people in my top VIP category. Top, very important person. If you're in my NIA, you're a very important person. Okay. Helen's on my VIP list. Helen, you get my emails every week. Actually, you probably get 3 or 4 from me, because
I do.
I believe, pretend they don't see it. So you got to blast them 3 or 4 times in a week. And if they delete you, they delete you. Who cares? So much noise out there. You got to make your mark and get in there. So when you're networking, you can network and go to an NIA meeting, but then what do you do after that? If you have that database that you learn how to use, you set it up on the drip campaign because you've got your categories established, and you have something going out that you've predetermined. And y'all, there's consultants that can help you with this stuff. I mean, you might have to pay a little bit of money to have someone help you set it up, but if that's your weak spot and you spend a little bit of money to do that, it's going to benefit you, because that's how you're going to generate more clients. And regardless of, I know I asked in the beginning about, what is business that you love, et cetera, means to you. Let's face it. If you're making money and you're able to support your family and you're able to go to Cancun or Vegas or this or that, or wherever it is that you want to go, Bali, I don't know, Norway, go to that like igloo ice hotel in Norway. I've always thought about going to that. And Fernando's like, you're crazy. I'm like, well, I go with my girlfriends then. We're just going to go there and whatever, right? So whatever that means to you, you can't do that without money. So bottom line, we have to generate more leads than we can handle so that we can cherry pick the ones that want to do business our way. And that goes back to time management, loving yourself, what's your why, knowing who your ideal client is, and knowing who your ideal client is not. And then fast forward, we're talking about networking, putting yourself in groups of people that you enjoy being around. I mean, if you're like suffering and not liking something, then it's not your tribe. Don't force something that's not there. So find groups, if you crochet, go to a crochet group and hang out with those people. I mean, literally, like, it's as simple as that. But you need to have something other than NIA. Like, we all need like 2 or 3 groups. Like, I have NIA, I have a couple NIAs that I'm a part of. I was going to do a third, and I told Helen, you know what? I got to drop one. I knew my limits. I knew my boundaries. I said, I love you a ton, but I got to tap out on this one because I have some other groups. I've got the book club. So find a few and show up. You've got to show up. So that's what I'm going to say about networking. And I mentioned on their events. So networking and events I see kind of as the same, kind of a similar category, but events are things that you put on yourself for the people in your database. Like, I don't know, maybe it's a happy hour. Maybe you start a book club. Maybe you want to start a book club for your clients and see who taps on. Maybe you want to start a Bible study. Maybe you want to have once a quarter, you want to have an event that's like a seminar about learning, like a past client. Actually, I need to implement this. I'm actually going to write this down right now. Like a past client webinar series. Like I did one a while back and then I dropped it because I can't remember the reason why, but like you could do a webinar series for past clients on things that are going to better their life. It has nothing to do with, oh, send me business now. That's not what I mean. You're doing something to enrich their lives. My past clients are homeowners, so I could bring contractors like, hey, if you need, things for, here's a guy talking about improvements in your home and maintenance and whatever. Like I'm just brainstorming out loud. But if you really are looking for fresh ideas, find those people within your NIA group, talk to your NIA leader, get a little mastermind going with other people that want to think tank marketing ideas and have like a strategy session. That's a way to use your networking group. And I know there's videos on NIA about this to learn about like, because again, guys, I'm gonna say it again. When you're in the storm and you're like reaching, remember that hand in the quicksand and you're like, oh my God, I'm drowning. You're not thinking about this stuff. You're like, what is she talking about? Marketing and thinking of ideas. Like you're too in the weeds trying to survive. That might be you. So align yourself with some people in your NIA group and ask for help. Like that's something I actually have a hard time doing. I don't ask for help enough. I really should. And say, hey, I'm struggling. Like it takes guts to say that. But the people in your group, I mean, I know Helen would lay down in front of an 18-wheeler for me. And I love you for that, Helen. I really do. Like she would, like maybe not an 18-wheeler, but maybe like just a small car. But like she would, like I know that I could count on her if I needed her to do something.
100%.
I know that I could. And I'm sure that you have someone like that too. So you have to sort of raise your hand and ask and say, oh my God, I'm drowning. I need marketing ideas. What do I do? And your NIA leader is going to point you to that.
Yep.
Because it's not going to occur to you naturally. And you may not even find that stuff fun. Like you may be like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Marketing. It just may not be your thing. So find help in that area. But planting these systems in your business will 100% move the needle. 100%. I'm here to tell you with my 30 years of experience and the business that I love and definitely loves me back, that is how it happened. So events also for putting on for your clients is also in there. You've got to have some events that you put on as well. And that's going to help your business grow. So I want to stop super quick and we're almost done. So hang in there with me and then I'm going to give you the free gift. So on some of my stuff, and you're going to wonder like big hug, big kiss, you wrote a book, like what does that mean? So more than just a super cute acronym, BHBK, I just got my trademark, Helen, by the way. BHBK, super cute. My Aunt Marianne was my very first mentor, and she was she was the first woman vice president at a major oil corporation. Those of you in Houston probably know Coastal States Oil Corporation. Total man's world. And she moved her way up from the secretary and she ended as a VP in a very tough place to get ahead. And she did it because she was a networker. She was a networker and she showed people gratitude, and her trade her ID on the Mercantile Exchange. She also was on the board of directors of the Mercantile Exchange, and her trade ID to get her tag to get on the floor, you know, everyone has one of those tags, was BHBK, Big Hug, Big Kiss. That's what she was known for, because she was always just kissing and hugging everybody like, hey, how you doing? You know, she was just very good at making people feel comfortable. That's just what she was known for. She was super friendly and everybody loved to talk to her. And she was a connector. Like she was up there competing with like Scott Talley material. Like she was literally the Scott Talley of her time, connecting everywhere. And that's what she was known for. So to keep her legacy alive, I wanted to do it. She passed away in 2011. But she very much is the reason why I was so good early on at networking. And I didn't realize it until I really started to think about it. Like, how did I get so good with, you know, to where I liked being out with people, et cetera? It's because she would bring me along on some of her things. Like, oh, come on, Jen, let's go to Ruth Chris Steakhouse. We got to go have a meeting with a couple of business people. And I was like, what? Okay, yeah, sure. I'll come on, what do I wear and blah, blah, blah. And so and I was watching her in action and it was really cool. So big hug, big kiss for me is more than, it's kind of like a philosophy. And that's why I named my book Big Hug, Big Kiss. So I just wanted to tell you guys that because you're going to see it and be like, what the heck does she mean? Big hug, big kiss. So for me, it's more like a culture of just embracing and being approachable and connecting and being authentic, and just like she truly loved everybody. And when you love and have the business that you love, you're going to love your vendors, you're going to love the people that you talk to, you're going to love your NIA members. You'll be like, I love you. I want to connect you. I want you to have more business. Like that's what it's about, right? And your business will grow. I promise you, when you plant those seeds. So gratitude. So think about now how you're showing gratitude. I'm a big note writer. I've also become, in this day and age, also like a personal video. Like take your phone and make a 30-second video to people and send it, but like use their name so they know that it's like really for them. Like, Daniel, thank you so much for welcoming me on I'm going to get your phone number, Daniel, and I'm going to send you one. Daniel, you were so amazing and welcomed me on the show and everything went totally smooth. And I'm so appreciative for you. Nice to know you. Have a great day. See you later. Bye. And you text them. Big hug, big kiss right there at you. See, like it's just as simple as that. And I have to say that it doesn't, as grateful as I am, I get in the weeds. I have little storms. They're shorter in nature than some people, but I still forget. So I have to schedule like 30 minutes a day, or maybe you do it twice a week, or maybe you do once a week and you do a look back. I'm actually kind of a bundler. I like to bundle to where once a week I just spend an hour and I write notes. Let's see, who did I meet with this week? Who can I write a note to? Let me jam out a few videos. Like I like to get in that flow and not just cram it in here and there, but like have that hour. We talked about the time blocking and just jam them out at one time in like an hour time block. So just think about that as you're thinking about your calendars. And some of you might prefer to do it 20 minutes a day and jam it out. I like, again, I like to bundle stuff. So I like to do kind of a look back on the week and do it that way. But you might want to do it every day, whatever is going to work for you. But really audit how you're showing gratitude, and however much you're showing right now. If you're like, oh yeah, Jen, I got all that going on, I'm doing the notes, you can do more. You can do more. I'm sitting here talking about it right now, and I'm already thinking about, you know what? I know how I can step up my game. I can do it more than what I'm doing right now. Okay, so just it's something good to think about. And lastly, investing in yourself. I am a super proponent of coaching. There's a lot of great coaching that we get in NIA. That's one thing I love about the sessions is the exercises we do at the meetings. So if you find yourself that you're always sending a sub, or I don't know, like just really see like, why is that? What about my calendar? Why am I always sending a sub? Like you're already paying to be in the group. The coaching, the sessions are great, but you might need some further coaching. Like I know when my needle started to really move is when I started to really invest in myself. And y'all, you can only watch so many free YouTube videos. Like you have to be willing to pay money. And I will say you will get the results that you're willing to pay for. You just will. And the more you pay, the more you pay attention. Now, I'm not telling you all you got to go out and get $1 gazillion, but I'm just here to say that, like, as you're doing these audits in the workbook that I'm going to give you, that I'm so excited for you to download, you might be like, you know what? I really need to move the needle in that area. I need to start tracking my leads, and I don't know where to start. So I would start with your NIA person. Like, who do you know that's techie and has systems and whatever? And I'm sure there's someone in NIA. And you might have to invest in that. That's investing in coaching. You're going to coach me on my database. I'm going to pay you a one-time fee to come in and get my stuff straight. And that's, so some of your coaching might be ongoing. You might need help with your headspace constantly. You might be like, you know what? I just need some positive mojo, whatever it is. When I started coaching, when I mentioned I had that meltdown and I was going backwards and I was in all the debt, etc., divine intervention introduced me to this person, which was the coaching company that I ended up coaching for. But in the beginning, I was a student and I could not afford it. Now it's a whole other story, but I went to their little seminar for 2 days and I came home, and this was a bunch of mortgage people. Okay. So it was industry specific. So it made sense to coach with them. And I loved it. I'm like, I have found my tribe. I'm going to do this. The only problem, it was like $2,500 a month. So we're in all this debt. I go and tell my husband, y'all, he almost literally passed out. Like I had to peel him up off the floor. He's like, you're going to do what? There is no way. I mean, I got all kinds of slack. We made a plan. I ended up doing it 6 months later and never looked back. It was wildly beneficial for me that I took the risk, invested in myself in that way. No, I'm not telling you to go out and spend $2,500 a month, but I'm just saying you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, whether it's with time, maybe money, something, because we all need a little bit of help. We do. We cannot go in on it alone. So I'm a super big, maybe you go to just a 3-day seminar and you do it in 3 days and do that, but you've got to get some coaching and you've got to make time with that calendar blocking to have quiet time to review once a week. Like I have Friday mornings where I work in my business Friday mornings. We talked about flow and having a block of like a 3-hour block. Friday mornings are a little bit slower for me. So like, if I escape from 9 to 11 and just work in my business, like nobody's unless a meteor's coming for the Houston, Texas, I think I'm okay. Like nobody's dying. Everything's fine. I can escape for 2 hours and it's fine and work in my business. So you've got to set aside some time to do that kind of stuff. Okay. So that is all that I have. So we talked about 3 concepts. There's so many more I could have talked about, but I'm hoping that you got at least a couple of nuggets of some things that you can really think about. And here is the workbook. So this is you're going to be prompted to fill out a survey. So sorry, you got to work for it a little bit. You want the freebie. There's like 6 or 7 questions about my presentation. I'd love your comments. I'd love your feedback. So scan the QR code and it'll take you there. Or let me put in the chat. I'm going to put the link in the chat if you want to do that instead. And then we'll get to questions. So the link will take you to the survey page, and the code to get in is BHBK. So if y'all could do that, and take the super quick survey, and then it'll get you the download. You can download the workbook. So enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. So I would love to take some questions. And then I'll also give you all some information about how to get in contact with me. But start thinking about your questions and putting them in the chat so we can go over those as you guys are doing the link for the QR code, et cetera, et cetera. I'd love to have some questions. I
All right. And
appreciate
is it okay if folks unmute themselves to pose questions?
Yeah.
You guys can unmute yourselves by holding the space bar and talking into your microphone, or just clicking the unmute button.
I'm going to leave the presentation up just for a minute, Daniel, just so they can do the QR code.
Absolutely. And we have a hand up. Mr. and Miss Chapman
Oh,
raised their hand.
Kasoon. Hey, girl.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
Good. Thanks.
Really quick question. Your referral, is it automated referral? How do you handle your referral, or how do you do your referrals right now?
So you mean how I treat them when they come in?
No, you said you had referral partners,
Well, my referral partners are the people that refer me.
right?
So realtors is my largest group of people. And then I've got business people, like I get, referrals within NIA or other business people that I've developed that might be clients, and they're a CPA, and, they have connections to people that want mortgages. So I have them in pillars of business, and I have what we talked about, that recurring sequence where I've set up different marketing campaigns of like email drips, and I'll have events where I'll invite them all. I create opportunities for me to interact with those people. I also call them. So I probably talk to the business people like at least once a quarter. I have like a call rotation of a list to where when I'm on my call, I talked about having a call flow time. And I say, okay, I'm going to grab my list and see who's not highlighted, who I haven't talked to in a while, and I call them. So I don't know if that's what you mean.
Right. So no, not necessarily like a referral program with a code that, your partners can use to refer you. You have a different type of.
So how they usually just refer me, some of them refer me on email, some of them refer
Got it.
me on, and anytime I send out a marketing piece, my info's on the bottom, all my contact info. And so they'll have my email, and usually email and text is the biggest way that I personally get referred. I mean, I'll
So,
get some on social media, but not a ton. They usually email me or text me or call me.
so I got my answer. Organically, not so much automated referral.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. It's a great question. Thanks, Rochelle. Thanks for the kudos. Appreciate it in the chat. I am going to go to the next page. If you want to get a discovery call with me, number one, I'm really wanting to do this talk more. So if you know of a sales organization that might benefit, I'd love to talk to, salespeople about building the business that they love I'm all about 100% referral. Like, nobody wants cold leads, y'all. Nobody. And so that's what I'm all about. So you can scan this QR code, and this will lead you to my Calendly to have like a discovery call to maybe, I'm happy to talk about talking at your organization. I also do have a VIP day. That might not be for everybody, where if you want to talk about if it's right for you, where I'll spend 8 hours with you and get your systems and stuff in place. It's like a super intense, like if you're ready to work, like, we'll take a 45-minute break. Like, that's it in 8 hours. Like, I'm going to be driven to get all your stuff done. So it's like a super intense day that we can do together. But if you're interested in talking about that, just get a discovery call with me. Or if you think that I could talk to your organization, salespeople, I would love to do that as well. So you can scan this to get in touch with me for sure. I'll leave that up here too. But I would love to have more questions, y'all.
Jen, you cover it all. You know, you're the best.
Oh,
If
thanks.
people can just know and understand that by leading with love, like you do, everything you do, you're always giving back. You don't just do a one-to-one to find out, you know, if you can sell a mortgage to someone. You're finding out about them and how you can help them and putting them first. I know how you are. You're putting them on your YouTube channel and you're doing everything with
Yeah.
everybody, whether it's your NIA referral partners or, you know, new or old. I know you've been doing this for 7 years with us, and you constantly are giving back. So give back within your industry, give back within your network. Those are the things that are going to help you grow, because everybody's going to want the one-to-ones with you to know you better. Everybody in this room, the same thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, one thing, actually, I'll give you all this nugget for those of you that are still on. It was several years ago, I had an aha moment. I was doing some training in like the Grant Cardone space, and I was doing the trainings, and he would repeat this over and over, and it really stuck out. You have to be more interested in them than they are in you. And so like that really was an aha moment and changed the way that I follow up with my prospects. So I'll just talk about that right now. Because the prospects are gold, right? And they're not all ready at the same time. You have to have a follow-up system. And now, we used to give up on people way too early. And after I took that Cardone sales training, I was like, well, he says follow up until they die. I think that's a little harsh. I'm like, I'm going to follow up until they tell me they're moving to Mars. How about that? And so, which is never, maybe. But basically, if they're not saying no, and this goes for referral partners too, if they're not saying no, they're still saying yes. And when I changed my mindset about that and really put myself in people's shoes about how people follow up these days, and this goes with y'all with your business contacts and NIA and everything else, people don't mean to ghost you. They are getting distracted and squirreling all throughout their day. And they see your text, and then they mean to, like, they can literally be in the middle of responding and something is going to grab their attention and they're going to go to it and they're going to forget. So you got to keep trying. If they're not saying no, they're still saying yes. So Helen, I've heard this from you, and Tony Harris Taylor tells us all the time. It is never too late to follow up. Like if you meet someone at an NIA meeting, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like such a loser. Like I met them 3 months ago and this card has been on my desk. It's never too late. And it's never too late to follow up with the prospect that you've been ignoring for 3-4 months. Like, don't even explain why, like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't followed up with you in 3 months. No, scratch that. Just go in and say, I'm here. You got to be more interested in them than they are in you. And if you have that mentality, and that goes to what Helen was saying, like, I'm always more interested. I've trained myself to be more interested in other people's success than my own. And I think I got that from BHBK, from Aunt Marianne. Like she was always that way. So I just kind of learned that. It will come back to you when you're giving to other people. So, you know, just some food for thought and just a couple nuggets about your follow-up. I converted a guy maybe like 6 or 7 months ago that I had followed, like outside of my drip campaigns that I have through my CRM, okay, for the clients. I had personally, either me or my assistant had texted and left messages for this guy 28 times because we tally every time we do it. My team wanted to give up on this guy so bad. I'm like, nope, not till they're moving to Mars, baby. Until they're saying no, they're still saying yes. And they're like rolling their eyes. They're like, oh my God, Jennifer. And do you not know? One day he called us and we looked on the lead tracker. We're like, oh my God, dude is from like 18 months ago, 28 texts later, never once responded to not one text, not one. The first thing he did was he apologized. He's like, I'm so sorry that I've never called you back. I've just been so busy and I travel so much. I said, not a problem. Well, you're a client of Dominique's. Like, we're here for you. What do you need? You don't need to tell me you're sorry. Don't worry. I'm here. I'm here for you. What do you need? He closed 45 days later. He was ready. And when he raised his hand, he's like, I am ready. I've been ignoring you all this time, but just no offense. I'm like, none taken. Let's do this. He was ready. I just wasn't important to him at that time. And he just kept pushing me off, but he was not saying no. And so I challenge you, as we're just bringing this up, to look at your follow-up and how many times you're following up with people, whether it's business people that could be referral partners, connections that you get through NIA, or whether it's leads that you get. Having that organized system and that lead tracker so that you can follow up with those people. I think that we don't do a good job of following up because we're not organized in that way. We've got to get our house straight, y'all. We've got to get our foundation organized so that we can, okay, here's my list. Here's my guy. I'm going to text him for the 29th time and he's going to surface eventually. There you go. So anyway, I hope that's helpful to some of y'all about follow-up.
Hey, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the statistics I remember from years ago, it takes about 7 to 8, contacts before they become a customer. And so, yes, you need a very good CRM system. And that's what I love about Salesforce.
Yeah.
With my Salesforce at work will have me follow up about every 90 days, once a quarter. So when I get that no, I just say, hey, is it okay if I stay in touch with you 2 or 3 times a year? And every time I ask that question, they say, sure, go right on ahead.
Yeah.
Boom.
So
guess what? I'm going to follow up on them at least 8 to 10 times, before I turn them off until they absolutely just say, I'm tired of getting your calls.
So it's interesting you say that because that recently, maybe within the last year, I heard, and it came from Grant Cardone, who's like, he's a great follow-upper. I don't know if you follow him at all, but it used to be 7 to 8, and now it's actually more like 15 to 16 because of all the different methods. Like with the speed of technology, it's actually, we're outdating ourselves all the time. So Tim, I would challenge you. You need to follow up more often. Quarterly is not enough. You need to send things of value. Like I would challenge you to say, okay, let me look at my pillars of business and my follow-up. Let me look at the clients, the prospects, the referral partners, whichever category they are. It sounds like that was a client. And whatever you guys all are doing right now, it is not enough. It is not enough. And so I did a scary thing last year. It was maybe 18 months ago. So I was following up with past clients because, I've already closed them. I don't want to bombard them. I don't want to hurt I don't want to make them sad and be all, ooh, Jennifer's, stalking me. I had all this in my head. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pretend that nobody sees it because normally they don't. And I'm going to start emailing them weekly. And I was so afraid to do that. And now I'm like, you know what? The people that don't want it are just going to unsubscribe, or it's just helping me redefine my database of the people that want to hear from me, right? So I turned up the volume because I was letting my fears of stalking, which I was creating, keep me from being a blessing to those that need my service. And you're a blessing to Tim. I was so excited to see your name. I clearly remember you, Timothy Tate, class of 88. And I remember you showed up every week and you were amazing to talk to. And I'm glad to be connected again. But you have so many people that you're a blessing to, and you need to keep in touch with them more than once a quarter. Like get to them with an article of interest or something that's of value to them as they're out there incubating, right?
Oh, I'm doing a posting on LinkedIn daily.
Okay, perfect.
Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday.
Nice. That's perfect.
And what I've learned on LinkedIn too is, a lot of my posts come from New York Life, but a lot of people like pictures of
Yeah.
yourself and also videos. And when I do that, LinkedIn will tell me, hey, your stats are up. You know, it's
Nice.
fascinating. It's
Nice.
fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. And also just the email pieces that we're doing is how we keep in touch with, past clients and current clients, and the leads that we have of the people that haven't bought from us yet is what I meant on the on the touch points and everything. Because there's a lot of noise out there, and that's what I've learned. And that, like, things are way different than they used to be that I had to do in 1995. Like, you just had to pick up the phone and call people. Like, now you've got social media and text and all these things. Like, it's so much, and there's so much noise that we're competing with, and people don't see half of your stuff. Like, people don't see your stuff all the time. We think they do, but they don't. And so we have to keep sending it in different methods, so that systematizing is super, super important, of automating as much as you can to keep those things coming. But anyway, it's all good. It can never be too much, ever. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think.
I don't
I
think
mean,
so either.
If you're caring about people and sending things of value,
Right.
like, yeah, I'll take you off my list. Sorry, you don't want me to help improve your life. Go, that's fine. No problem. No, I don't say that, but I think it. I'm like, okay. But some people just don't want it, and that's okay.
And you can't take it personally. You just have to
Yeah.
say, okay,
Move
great,
on to
I'll
the
take
next
you off
one,
my
yeah.
list and move on.
Well, that's why you generate more leads than you can handle. So when people say goodbye, you're like, okay, great. I wish you
Next.
the best. Awesome.
Next.
Yeah.
Hey, Jennifer, I was going to tell you on Reveille Club, just come. Don't
Yeah, I
feel
will.
bad that you've been away for a while, because I'm
Oh,
a
no,
good
I don't feel bad.
No. Here. I have been activated 3 times since 9/11 and had to step away for 18 months, 7 months, and then also 9 months, and then also whenever I've been gone on military reserve duty for my 2 weeks a year, and then also I told you I came from the banking industry and I was
Yeah.
hourly, and so I couldn't go. And so, you just show up. It
Yeah.
doesn't.
It's never
People
too late to show up. You're exactly
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on any of it, or follow up.
People understand. Hey, your path or your job took you somewhere else.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service, Timothy.
All right,
I
Jen.
retire in September with 36 years and 9 months of service.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Thank you.
Awesome.
You're welcome. Hey, thank you, because we can't do it without taxpayer support. So we appreciate you filing your taxes and, to support our common defense.
Awesome.
Well,
In
thank
fact,
y'all for having me today, and really appreciate it. And you can that QR code. Hopefully, you used it. And Helen and Daniel, Scott, they all have my information. So
Right on. Thank
yeah,
you very much, Jen, for this speaker series today. This was lovely. It was awesome. And
thanks.
thank you all for being here. We do encourage all of you to return for July 2nd, our first Wednesday of the month. We're going to be doing our Network with the Nations, as we do. And then on July 16th, we have Mr. David Ross for Sales Mastery, his subject, the Go-Giver Mindset. Followed by July 23rd, the fourth Wednesday of the month, we have Courtney Widener. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And her subject is What Makes You Come Alive? So do attend that. We do look forward to having you, and we hope to see you soon. All right. Thank you again, Jen. This was lovely.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, y'all.
Love you.
See you later. Love you too.